Today, we are asking a very UAE question. How do you honor heritage and still feel fresh and modern and global?
There wasn't Arabic, Khaliji, Emirati content on YouTube. And I felt more alive doing the things that I like.
I found it very difficult to find something that is fitting me and my style. I really want something that reflects myself.
Storytelling was pretty much part of my DNA. I became addicted, like literally obsessed with filmmaking. And I thought, this is it, this is my calling.
3 Emirati women, 3 creative worlds, each of them rooted in heritage and rewriting what modern Emirati identity looks like.
Hollywood and others, they paint us in one light and always negative, bombing, belly dancers and billionaires. I want to create movies that can at least alter and give nuance to these perceptions.
They're like thin lines when it comes to our tradition. To actually show your home, 2010 wasn't that okay. People were a bit shocked.
There were no people sharing interior designing and social media. There is no influencers. People need to know. I just wanted to educate people, communicate what I've been through, and that's it.
Instagram gave us a platform. People wanted to see the girl behind those videos.
People look at the glamour, the red carpet and everything else, but they don't see that 95% of it is literally knocking your knuckles till they bleed.
This conversation isn't about industries. It's about identity, about challenging stereotypes, expanding narratives, and reclaiming the Emirati story through creativity.
The first 2 shorts I did, they ended up on Netflix worldwide. And then my first feature film was the first Emirati film that opened in 92 cities in Turkey. It's a stepping stone. I've learned a lot. And now I'm thinking, how can I take it to the next level?
It's a responsibility. In real life, the mothers are like, our daughters are watching you. You have to reflect your country. You have to have a good reputation.
The followers, they trust me, and I don't want to break this trust. That's why I kept rejecting a lot of projects, because it's not true.
These stories aren't just personal journeys. They're cultural footprints. A reminder that when heritage meets courage, the future becomes something powerful and beautifully, unmistakably Emirati.
Welcome to Beyond the Surface by Design Studio by Huzaifa. Today, we are asking a very UAE question. How do you honor heritage and still feel fresh and modern and global? We're joined by 3 amazing Emirati voices who have been shaping taste and story and design. We are so honored to welcome Manar Al-Ali, an Emirati designer and entrepreneur. Manar blends local heritage with a clean, modern look across her interiors and lifestyle. And she believes spaces should tell our stories, not just show the trends. Also on the sofa today, we have the first female Emirati filmmaker, Nayla Al-Khaja, putting Emirati nuance on screen, balancing universal storytelling with roots that feel authentic and proud. And Taim Al-Falati is an Emirati media personality and tastemaker. Taim has shaped how a new generation here thinks about luxury in food, travel, and lifestyle, while still being real and relatable and rooted. Thank you all for joining us. I am so excited to learn about you and learn from you about this balance, about this nuance, about how you stay true to your roots while really keeping it relevant and exciting and inspiring next generations in different mediums. And I'd love to start with the mediums that you work in and why. Nayla, you've been working in filmmaking for a number of years. You've had some big, heavy-hitting movies. We've got lots to talk about in terms of the future. But what was it about film that first attracted you and you decided it was going to be how you wanted to tell stories?
I think I was just born to damage the curtains in my house because I did hundreds of live shows for my parents. And I knew
that kid.
Exactly. And so storytelling was pretty much part of my DNA, my vein. And as I grew up, I also noticed that I'm very entrepreneurial. And I remember my brother, when we were 15, he was sitting across me and he said, what's that one thing that you want to do? And the answer came right away. And I said, I would like every Chinese person on the planet to give me $1. And he's like, what? I'm like, and he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, I would like to sell something that goes global. And of course, cinema it is. So let's see where that goes.
With film, it feels very other. It feels like something that...
Yes, alien.
Yeah, yes. Hollywood, Bollywood. And then we think about how that translates to, being here in the UAE. Yeah. What were your first steps about this making your career?
I could completely say that my father was the trigger because he had the largest collection of films in the world, like from, I think, thousands, Betamax, VHS. I'm almost 48, so you can imagine I started when I was super young. I was 7 years old. I found out where he hid his key of his mahogany cupboard, and I was able to access that cupboard, like, this little girl going on the ladder and taking a Betamax every day. And I became addicted, like literally obsessed with filmmaking. And I thought, this is it. This is my calling. I was so in love with crafting the story. And then film is it's heavy because you're working with 200 artists. You know, you have a whole department for like, so it's like this big orchestra, and you have to be the leader and make sure everything moves seamlessly. And you can create worlds that don't exist. And every film takes me to another country, another profession. And I've become very humbled by the process. And I'm extremely honored that I have people that lift me up now in this process. And you basically end up having a film family. And people think, they look at the glamour, the red carpet and everything else, but they don't see that 95% of it is literally knocking your knuckles till they bleed. It's grafting, it's working extremely hard. And, you know, just to give you a quick example, when I did my first feature film, I got 61 rejections. I have an Excel sheet of people not wanting to invest because they don't understand, as you said, the profession. Number 62 said yes. Imagine if I quit before that. And, you know, it was a woman, Muna Al-Gurk, and then Sultan Darmaki came on board, and they're like, we love what you're doing. We want to believe in it. And the first 2 shorts I did, they ended up on Netflix worldwide, which was amazing. And then my first feature film, which is now running, and it was the first Emirati film that opened in 92 cities in Turkey. Wow. So it had a global release in 10 countries. So it's a stepping stone. I've learned a lot. And now I'm thinking, okay, how can I take it to the next level?
And
so it's exciting.
It's so interesting to have that big picture, right? My brain can't conceptualize the idea of like the tiny detail, but then zooming out about how that story is going to be portrayed and how you connect with people. And how do you choose the stories that you tell? What's your why when it comes to communication and what you're trying to either educate or entertain with?
Usually it comes from true life stories, or, you know, like maybe she'll tell me something that happened to her aunt or something from her childhood, and it triggers something. And then I take that and I evolve it. So like one of my cutest stories, I would say this because it's heartwarming, it's called The Neighbor. And it was based on a German court case way before my husband came into the picture. It was about a girl who was depressed, who wanted to basically, you know, end her life. And long story short, she used every different technique. It didn't work. Then she used gas, and she got scared and she ran out of her room, only to unintentionally kill her neighbor because the gas trip with the old lady passed away. So there was a case against her, and I thought, wow, that's a crazy story. So I called it The Neighbor. I didn't make it so miserable. Nobody wanted to end their life, but I made it. Yeah, so I made it about an old Emirati grandma who connects with a young British lady who plays a piano, and they clash on everything. They don't speak their language, but it becomes so cute and sweet in the end. It makes you cry. But it's these heartwarming stories. And then I delve into the dark genre because I like to paint, my original vocation. So then I do a lot of what we call psychological horrors. You know, and the horror that makes your skin like kind of crawl, and it's like slow burning, and then there's a big punch in the end. So that's kind of my voice in cinema. So that's why I tend to do darker stories.
And I understand you've had some big names on that red carpet recently. Well, I don't know. Can you name the names?
Yes, for sure. So for my latest film called Bab, which means door in Arabic, very appropriate to where we are. And it's about a story that takes place about 2 sisters, twins. One sister passes away before the other at age of 42. So when she comes back to her mother's house, so one gets married, one isn't. So the one who isn't married passes away. And we build an entire house that looks like the Arabian old homes, like the courtyard. So I had to build a house from scratch. It took us 3-4 months to build this set.
Manar.
So we had a lot of effort to make this house look authentic. And then I was able to give this very beautiful little gem of a script to like heavyweights. And lo and behold, 2 of the artists who read it from outside our region, they said yes, and I almost had a heart attack. So one is Rahman, who's very well known for 200 movies. It's his first Arabic film. So he composed the love song. He composed a lot of the songs. So it was gorgeous. And he used the Sunshine Orchestra. So I watched the orchestra playing live on this big screen, like in front of the film. I had goosebumps. And then the second one is quite popular in the US. His name is Roger Stoffers, who has done School of Rock, Disturbia, a lot of big films. So for him to come and do this film in Ras Al Khaimah was so bizarre. Of course, the writer also, Masoud Amrullah, is quite prominent in the Arab world. They call him the godfather of cinema. So having these like champions, and I'm like sitting there saying, oh my God, I have to really push my weight and break through with them.
But what an amazing example that is of knocking on doors and saying, I have something to say. You are going to be missing out by not listening to this story, and now getting that global stage. And we're seeing it in food. We're seeing Emirati cuisine being amplified, and this idea of now is this the time to shine. And I find it interesting to talk to you because obviously being Emirati, it's very hard to get an idea of perception outside of the region, because we're so in it here in the UAE. So for you to be having releases in Egypt and Turkey, of having global stars going, okay, I want to do a film in Arabic. I see the value there. I feel like it would be a missed opportunity. And then when we think about how storytelling takes different forms and different mediums, and you've been working them in social media for 15 years
Yeah,
now?
it's been 15 years.
Tell us about that choice back then, because talk about early adopter. It was YouTube that you started in initially. What attracted you to that as a medium?
So for me, university wasn't enough. The materials, the content, what I'm learning in the classes, they're good. But for me, I just like to do my own stuff. So since in the university, I've actually started to do my own magazine. So I did my own magazine. And after the success of that, I did my own online radio show. So because I was studying and those things, I felt more alive doing the things that I like. And my major was communication as well and media. So after that, there wasn't like really Arabic, Khaliji, Emirati content on YouTube. And especially me and Emirati, and my part of that was vlogging. So it's actually sharing your life. And they're like thin lines when it comes to our traditions, when it comes to the society in the UAE. To actually show your home, 2010 wasn't that okay. So to show your home, to show your family, to show like the small details, people were a bit shocked, but actually supportive. Because I knew the lines. Even I kept the family spirit, the exploring, the discovering, the traveling spirit into the videos. So yeah, there were people against it, of course, but mostly supportive, which was shocking at that time.
I think it does take people to be pioneers, though, to kind of push those boundaries and to normalize things that might have been in silence or stigmatized or just shrouded in mystery. Because when someone does that, it gives permission to other people to say, I want to tell my story, or I see what you're saying, but this is my experience. And then that dialogue just grows and grows and grows. And now, how many followers on social media total? How many millions?
Could be in total 5-point-something million in all platforms. But I mean, when it comes to the platform that I started with was YouTube. Actually, when you look, because social media is crazy, it's unexpected. So I started on YouTube and done a lot of vlogging and video content. But actually, my most followers come from Instagram. So the YouTube was the first one, but mostly my followers are on Instagram, because on YouTube, they would watch your vlog. Okay, let's wait in a week, or maybe she will upload in a month. But Instagram gave us a platform where people wanted to see the girl behind those videos. And at that time, so it's crazy how social media works and the algorithm and everything. And now we have different platforms. So it's here and there, and like, it's crazy.
And how do you feel like you do strike that balance between being respectful of your heritage and of your family, especially older generations who might not understand the platform, and having that authenticity, that relatability that really does connect to your followers who want to see where you're going for lunch on stories, or want to see your adventures on reels? Do you find yourself sometimes holding back or wanting to see where it can go? Do you have that inner knowing of what's right?
I do, actually. I do. And sometimes I actually feel tension even about it, because it's a responsibility. When you meet those people and those followers in real life, like, I had a lot of situations where a mother comes with her daughter to actually meet me. And then once I see the mother, I'm like, okay, that's a responsibility, because she brought her daughter to actually meet someone who's an inspiration for her. So the mothers are like, our daughters are watching you. Like, it's a big responsibility, because you have to reflect a lot of things. You have to reflect your country. You have to have a good reputation at the end of that, and to put out authentic and grounded content. It's not easy right now, because like, I will speak really freely about it. It's not just sharing content. I'm an entrepreneur in that. There is business, there is money that comes out of social media. So to balance those two together, and yet to keep it authentic, and yet appealing to our country, and like best pictured, it's a responsibility, but it's a nice one.
It is. It's a privilege.
It is.
And I'm a firm believer that, we do have roles and responsibilities as women and as entrepreneurs to be setting an example for the next generation. And I think that entrepreneurship is actually a really exciting time here in the region. Coming from the UK, there are so many people moving here because this is an environment that really nurtures entrepreneurship. We've got the agility, we've got the infrastructure, we've got the appetite. I don't know if you know the phrase tall poppy syndrome, but in other parts of the world, when someone starts to get too successful, the media will cut them down, people will start to be negative. Whereas here in the UAE, I genuinely feel, as a content creator myself, as an entrepreneur and as a parent, this is a really exciting place to be. And I know, Manar, you've built your career here and incredible success around the region. And I wondered, as an entrepreneur, how do you feel on reflection about how you balance this idea of ambition and who inspires you as a businesswoman? Where did it begin?
All begins from my childhood. Like the way my mom was furnishing the house and taking us to those furniture shops and so on. This has all inspired me. And I had an eye on those things. But then as I grew up, I went to the marketing and tourism field, and I've been working for 15 years with the government. But then for the last 5 years, when I first started building my house, I found it very difficult to find something that is fitting me and my style. I really want something that reflects myself. So I even imagine it as I already paid for some of the interior designers, with all respect, but I didn't actually apply it because I didn't feel it. Feel it.
And in your home, like, that is your sanctuary. That's where you're supposed to be feeling like your most authentic self. And if you're coming home and thinking, this isn't me, this isn't my story.
Exactly. And I wanted to, as I don't have any background about interior designing and all those lightings and how to furnish the layout and all of that, it needs books or something to read about them. And then when I started really reading, having courses with Farah Al-Hamidi, she's one of the very famous interior designer, and I totally respect her. And then I went to the courses here in UAE. I fly to Kuwait even. I have a one-to-one meeting with her. I just want to know more about it. And once I knew, I educate myself, then I have the courage to do my house by my own. And here where it all started. And then at that time in 2000, let's say 15, I believe, there were no people sharing interior designing in social media. There is no influencers in this field. There is no people who's telling me what to do and what not to do. There is no storytellings. There is no experiences, even if it was like bad experience. I want to hear it, And then I started that because I feel like people need to know. I just wanted to educate people, communicate what I've been through, and that's it. This is what was my first intention.
And sharing your little black book of knowledge as well, of like, this is where to go for this, and this is the person you need to speak to for that, because, social media is so powerful for this idea of connection and community, storytelling, inspiration.
And I was like very, very, very true with myself and with the followers. I say the truth, what matter what, because nobody at that time even control me in any way. I mean, I want to say the authentic experience of anything and everything. And then I said, do that, don't do that, go with this, don't go with that, and so on. This is my experience, you can have yours, and so on. And I think this is what keeps me today with those followers. They trust me, and I don't want to break this trust. That's why I kept rejecting a lot of projects, honestly, and a lot of paid collaborations, because it's not true where they are offering, or doesn't reflect me.
If your name is going to be on it.
Exactly. I'm so picky.
We all know that balance.
I'm so picky because I don't want to break this trust with my followers. And then, I think nowadays I love what I'm doing and how it feels, and it's nice. It's nice.
How do you describe your aesthetic?
Very minimal, modern, and yet cozy, I would say. Something that is very minimal, but now I do projects for people. And I think people love, the people who comes to me or the clients, they are saying, we want something new. We want something is not there. We want something creative. And this pushed me. And because I'm in a marketing background, I feel like I know what they mean. And I push myself, team, it's pushing limits for you. And I do that for myself. I challenge myself every time with every project to do something nobody did it, because I don't like a copycat.
Even if it doesn't match your aesthetic.
No, I do match my aesthetic because I don't take clients. Like, مثلا, there's a lot of people comes to me with a classic or a new classic.
Maximus, for example.
I love Maximus. And come to me. I love it.
There's like no limit to Maximus.
No,
Like,
I do that because I want to challenge myself.
But it has to be true to
Yeah,
you.
exactly. And nowadays, أصلاً, the 1970s interior coming back to 2026. And this is very nice and challenging, and it's changing minds. And interior, as everything, is changing as we go, and I love it.
Are there any design motifs or elements from Emirati culture that you incorporate, or maybe if you're going to design a majlis or a home in 2030, what would you still continue?
2030.
Yeah,
Yes.
let's fast forward to the future.
Look, I would always keep Majlis spirit as it is, like the communication, the hospitality, the way that the Majlis is designed, the layout, I will keep it as it is. But I will incorporate a lot of like lights, a lot of fabrics that is very challenging. Like I love to experience with fabrics. And yeah, I would keep this, but I will also keep something very functional, because I think the functionality is missing, and to keep changing.
I'm excited to see what you'll create. I think it ties back to this idea of storytelling.
Yes.
That the Majlis being this space of connection and the heritage of storytelling. I think it's so beautiful that we have multicultural families, living together, this idea of connection. And I wondered about what you've experienced through Emirati storytelling.
I actually want to say something about Tim because I followed her probably the first 2 people. Like she doesn't know this. Yeah. And what's really interesting is, and I have so much respect for her because she's extremely bold and she's not afraid. And I think that spirit resonates with me, because in film you have to be working with 95% men, right? And then with what she did, which is incredible, hats off to her, is because throughout the 15 years plus, I'm sure it was in her mind way before, other people came. And that didn't deter her. She started reinventing herself, always being fresh. And that longevity is very hard. People forget that you reach a success, and now what? You have to keep pushing and getting better and better, and not just like go down. It's very easy to go downhill,
and
right?
some people do it in the wrong way. We're seeing a lot of people posting kind of rage bait or trying to get attention for the wrong reasons. And, with social media, that it's a limited number of eyeballs. There are more people wanting to be content creators because it can be really lucrative, without understanding the work that goes on behind the scenes to build your audience, or what it takes to create that content. From the storytelling, the voiceover, the edit, the client work. It's huge. We've got so many people thinking, oh, this is an easy gig. And
correct. So I have something to tell them both. So I have never been on social media. I never took it, I never took it seriously. I would post once every 2 months. So last year I made a vow and I said, I'll post twice a week, consistently. And I've been doing that. My heart goes out because I know it's not easy. It's not for me my cup of tea, because usually I work 3 years on one big project, and it's a very different kind of time, feels very differently from filmmaking and content creation. And sometimes I pull my hair with my social media team. I'm like, I don't want to do this. Like, you have to post, It's like, it's so hard for me. Like, it really is like, I can't just go somewhere and click and post. They're like, Haram, you went to this amazing event, not one post.
And I decide, okay, I'm going to this trip without any posting. I just want to enjoy it. And it's like a short trip, 2-3 days. And like everyone, yes.
But do you ever switch off?
That's what I want to say. Like when I went there, I said, okay, even if I take photos, it's just going to be for the sake of memories. Yeah, just for me. And then I can't. Like I
have the opposite problem.
I'm very eager to show the people, like, no, this has to be shared with my followers. It's not just for me. No, that's just.
So I have the opposite problem, and I think they need to give me tips how to change, because it's a disaster in my world.
And in terms of your demographic, I think it's a really interesting insight into life here in the UAE. And if I would love to follow you if I was living outside, because one of my big frustrations, to be honest, I've been here nearly 20 years, is the perception of Dubai in particular outside. You know, we think about, and I love luxury and I love travel and I love great restaurants, but this idea of how some people, especially journalists from outside the region, can come to here with an agenda of pigeonholing the city, the people, without having a true understanding of even following one Emirati person, or even people that live here for 10 years who have never had a friend who was non-British or someone has a different passport.
I was hijacked. Just a quick story, which is exactly what you're saying. There was a French reporter, not mentioning a name, from a very big agency. So he's like, oh, let's go for a car ride. I'll interview you. And his agenda was only to show the negative part, right? I was not interested in anything. And I got agitated. So we're like driving the car and he's interviewing. And then he said, yeah, but I'm sure women are, you know, they don't have freedom and blah, blah. And he went on. And then, you know what? I said, yes, you are right. So his eyes opened up. I said, you know, I have no freedom, but I got free healthcare. I had no freedom, but I got free scholarship. Like, you see, he was getting annoyed, you know. I kind of flipped it. So I said, yeah, well, I was so suffocated, but I was allowed to study in Canada for 5 years. Exactly. So I said, you know, women have no rights, but somehow I have my office. I have 2 branches. I have X number of employees.
I'm doing okay.
Yeah, I know. So he's like, okay, I get the point, you know. But it's very frustrating. And in film, we have something very famous, because I also blame like a lot of these big industries like Hollywood and others. They paint us in one light and always negative, and they say the 3 Bs. So bombers, like bombing, belly dancers, and billionaires. This is when you look at Arabs as a whole. And this is one of the other very strong motivations that I have, that I want to create movies that can at least alter and give nuance to these perceptions and show Arab women as more complex than that. And it's not just one way or the highway. I mean, we're over 20 plus countries and everything is so diversified.
But it's so reductive
in
how it's communicated.
They've like literally reduced us to one plot, and it's just so sad. And I want to show other plots and other stories that come out from this region.
And with your filmmaking, how important is language when you're thinking about accessibility, making sure that there are different dialects or captions and making sure that that message reaches as many people as possible?
I'll use the word from social media, pain point. So, so this is a pain point because Arabic language is not completely unified in the Arab world. So Egyptian Arabic will be very different than North African, Moroccans and whatnot. So we don't have a unified language. But today you can watch a Korean show, you can watch any show, and really film kind of dissolves language. It's a visual medium and a story can really grab you in, right? So I feel like my being like, both of my films are in Arabic, but yes, I will try making an English language film, which is fine. But I really want to push our Emirati dialect to break into other markets, because if the story is universal, I feel anyone can connect with that. Honestly, I believe 60% of it is marketing. So you could take something small, and if you have a giant company that can push all their firepower to market and push that story, I feel like now with the platforms like Netflix and Amazon, everybody would jump and watch it. I know it's cliche, but I'll bring the story of Squid Games. Like, who would have thought, you know, the world would watch that? Now they're Americanizing and doing an American version, but still, you could have a foreign film that breaks out. So I think that to me is super exciting, and language should not be a barrier. It should be a celebration.
Absolutely, and people are leaving money on the table by not recognizing certain languages, demographics. And as you say, the universal themes through storytelling literally translate across absolutely everything. If you find the right story and you have the skill, as you do, to tell that story.
I'll give you an example. My first feature film 3, the second largest, so the first largest demographic who watched it were from the Northern Emirates, like Sharjah, Ras Al Khaimah. Second demographic was shocking to us when we found out, French women. Wow. Like, what? Yeah, I don't know why. There was a big French community that really enjoyed the film very much. And I thought that is really interesting. So now for my second film, because it's kind of similar in thematics, we're going to focus like pushing our Google ads to the Northern Emirates and to the European town. So they have the same sensibilities. You never know like where the connection is. So data is also very important. As you said, algorithm, understanding the data of how things work, and things change constantly. So we need to also like move fast with time.
And what do you say about the next generation coming through? And I ask that as parents, but also as those who are influencing the younger generation. When it comes to what you expect your children to be doing here in the UAE in 10, 20 years' time, and now, what are the industries that you, I think, are really exploding, that, you know, the UAE is encouraging, and where I would say leading the way in many aspects? What are your predictions?
I was talking to my sister that day, and I was saying a lot of jobs will disappear. A lot of them, because with ChatGPT and all of this, يعني now even the translator is, I don't think they will exist anymore, because there is a lot of apps, there is a lot of technology coming up, and which is nice. And we can take, that day I was making one of the, like how to design a home for handicapped people. And it's very interesting to know that a lot of apps today, it helps them to move around. And even for the like blind people, they use this technology to go around, which is very interesting. So I don't hate technology, but I think there's a lot of things that is coming up with our kids, and I love how smart they are. And now my 7 years old, she know more than me when I was 7, and it shocks me. And يعني ما شاء الله, I love how their knowledge is very, very, very high. And I think the jobs will come. I mean, there's a new jobs will come, I'm sure.
There's an opportunity, that's the thing. Some will go, but there's going to be a wave of things that don't even exist
I
yet.
feel like things that there is a lot of jobs that will disappear, but there's a lot of things that will come up.
I think for you, when we think about interiors and home, yes, you can put into AI, I want a home for this budget and this is my color palette and da-da-da-da. But to sit down and have a conversation about your needs and your wants and textures and feel, that's never going to go away. That human element.
Unless they start building a consciousness.
Let's not get there. Do not scare me. But AI in filmmaking is really interesting.
Tim's new film, She Falls in Love with
don't you dare.
You like
Don't you dare. But when we think about, the UAE is really forward thinking, investing a lot in AI in schools and, conferences. And I know obviously filmmaking is a really interesting point, because there will be aspects of editing and even set creation, which will be
VFX.
Completely.
VFX, my last VFX, we only used like AI for those scenes. I couldn't afford it. Like each one was $6,000 for a second or 2 seconds. And with the subscription, $25, we were able to solve it. It's absolutely mind-boggling. Even the first feature, I keep coming back to it, but we did it all in Chinese using AI in like 3 weeks. And we launched it in the UAE in the Chinese language for the Chinese audience in the UAE using Emirati vocals. Like, for example, Tim's voice and your voice will record it 2 hours. The computer will understand it, and then it will basically make her speak in that other language. And I feel you are right, and you're right. Now it's early. It still doesn't have that, Yes, it's still, some every now and then there's like, it goes a little bit mechanical.
Oh, so then it goes off.
Yeah. So it's still not perfect yet.
But I do think it's going to be interesting to see where it goes.
In
but
a few years.
I think the role model piece is always going to be interesting. You can have an AI actress or an AI model, but unless you have sitting in front of someone having a real conversation about their real lived experiences, that's where you learn. That's where you get inspiration from. How do you still stay inspired to keep creating? Because you've diversified so much around food and travel, fashion, being a role model here in the region. What still gets you excited then?
Actually, it is interesting, because what gets me inspired and still interested in what I do is mostly other people in the field itself. So I am motivated by those people, by how clever, actually. Let's take it to the very positive side of the content creators, and like they are brilliant. Like even if they are like still young or they are still new to this industry, but they are brilliant. So seeing those content actually gives me like, the competition. Like,
that's good, the ambition.
The ambition, and I'm like, no, I could do that. I could actually do better than that. So this actually, other people do inspire me. I won't say like, the cliche things, which actually, that's normal. Even when I'm sitting with you, I'm getting inspired now by those beautiful ladies, by you, and by the furniture and everything. Like, but in my field, like what triggers me actually is seeing other influencers and what they actually have to present. So, and in a nice way to have it.
And sometimes that could be a jumping off point. It could be a perspective going, okay, I see what you've done there, but I can bring my own lens to that. I can bring my own experience. That might be an audio or a location, but I can elevate it. I can relate it more to my demographic. Exactly. And when it comes to working with brands, when they come to you and saying, this is what we want you to do, this is our vision, how do you decide who to work with and how to make something be authentic, but as we say, also commercially viable for you as a talented content creator?
We've learned, especially in the UAE, to stick with our roots. Okay, so within that said, I like also to stick with my roots when it comes to social media, how I started. Like I started as vlogging as YouTube. So to have that when the brands try to collaborate, I always tell them, I will do the video, but I won't do it in a very commercial way. I want to stick to my root where actually people, where did they started following me, where they actually accepted me. They accepted me as vlogging, as showing a very detailed, like even if you have a commercial of a big thing, I want to bring it like more to myself. And
they need to trust you.
Yeah,
they need to trust that they might have a product or a service or a event or activation, but you're going to know how to frame it to resonate with your audience.
Exactly.
Does that make sense? Now, how do you find that in terms of the filmmaking piece? So, if you're doing any work for a client or when it comes to storytelling of someone else's story, and you still that your name is going to be there on the credits, Nayla, how do you have that balance?
It takes forever to make a movie. I mean, this was something we were discussing before our fireside chat here, is because I'm not just interested in just directing my own films. I'm also interested in directing other women directors, specifically because we don't have many female directors in the UAE. It is a disaster. We're like less than 1%. It breaks my heart. In the world, there are 9% of women. For every 10 films, there's only one female director who has produced and published her work or been distributed. So this is a major, another like motivation of mine is to produce for other extremely talented women who have something to say. They don't have, that story doesn't have to align with something I like. But if I feel like it could have an audience, she's very like strong about her voice, and I can see something about it that I can like literally put my claws in and my teeth in, sink my teeth in, then yes, I then attach myself as a producer. I basically raise the money. I do the entire journey of the film from, pre-sale, sales, distribution, film festivals, releases in different countries, like the whole kind of road journey or the entrepreneurial journey of a film. Because a film can have a life. People forget that films still make movies after money after 20 years or 30 years. It is a business entity by itself. Every film I've done is an LLC. And yes, because you raise sometimes money. Let's say there are movies for $10 million US, $5 million. That's a proper business. It's a lot of money to start a movie. And then you have to find different homes around the world where they can sell it. You could still find. There was a story of a friend of mine who made a film, and nobody bought it. He was really depressed. It was 9 years later where somebody wanted a specific topic, and he made all his money back plus. So you never know the longevity. Someone says, you don't know what your movie is going to make or when you're going to pass away, because there are things that you can't control these things. So there is longevity in film. There isn't quickness like social media in film. So it's a slow burn, but it's a burn that can stay. What I love about film, it's eternal. It's not a candle that just goes off, but even after you're gone, people, if your film is strong enough, it will stay in your generation, in your kids' generation, and it's forever. Like film, film is forever, and I think diamonds are forever, but films are forever. For me, it's films. And this is funny. My husband, instead of getting me diamonds, I'm like, please, please, please get me like signed posters. So if you go to my house, you'll see like Pulp Fiction with the original signatures of all the actors on it. Like he goes to auctions and gets them for me. So this gets me super excited than like, pieces of stuff that I can get myself.
but that just took me straight back to you unlocking the cupboard of your dad's, and understanding the gift of that, of insights. I think that's actually really what we're talking about today, is the gift of being able to live and look through someone else's eyes. And that could be a different country, a different language, a different time.
Do you know how affected we all cry on set, even men? Like we'll be doing a story about a 12-year-old who's sick, and then we really get into that disease and we understand. And when the kid is acting, we forget the cameras are on. We get so involved, like we call it in the zone, right? And there's so much detail and like packed emotions. And we're together as a family for because when we make a movie, it's like 6 months, pre-production, production, post. So everyone's together. So every film takes you to another zone, and it's a beautiful escapism, I guess. And I'm a Pisces, so it's art, it's business, it's fashion. I think film is so magical because it brings all the arts together. It just takes time. That's the only problem.
Do you have like a little lull afterwards when you?
Yes, depression hits for sure. Yeah, you go through what we call the blues. It doesn't, like the second film didn't last so long, but the first film, it was crazy. I think 2 months, it kicked me really hard because I was just constantly wanting to be on set. That's where I'm alive. Like she said, makes her alive. That's where I'm alive and I'm in my zone. and it just takes so long to get in that filming or directing zone. And but it's good because now I'll be able to produce for other directors, so I can be on their thing without having the blues.
Can I ask you all about boundaries? You know, as entrepreneurs, we have projects, and that can be something that might take a day or 6 months or
Years.
longer.
Yeah.
And when you work for yourself, there are no boundaries. You know, I know as ambitious women, it's this idea of I want to do my best, I want to keep showing up. You know, I'm competitive, I'm ambitious. How do you balance this idea of work and family life and relaxation while still feeling relevant and like you're fulfilling your potential? Do you ever switch off? That's really what I'm asking you.
I have a lot of people ask me like, what you don't like about your job. I say like, there's nothing, yani, it's the opposite. I like everything about it. And then I say like, but just this little tiny thing, which isn't tiny, but it's just that for me. It's the privacy. Like I don't have, mashallah, مثل Manar and Nayla, a family and a kids and everything, and they have a lot of responsibilities and balancing to do. Like the only balance I think of is like just to go and chill and relax.
But that's mental health. That's important.
Exactly. But it's the privacy that it's. Yeah, it's a bit
She has to go to Taiwan to achieve that.
So this is the only thing that I struggle with. Other than that, I love every aspect of this profession or job I am in. But when it comes to social media, it's not just my privacy. It's actually my family's privacy. So when we go out for dinner or something, they want to take a picture of me, but my sisters are not okay with that. And they think because I'm okay, like, all the family is okay. So I tend to see those photos and videos of my family. So it's just that when it comes to me.
It's that tension, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because you don't want to come across as rude. You know, people feel like they know you, and it is a one-sided relationship, but you still want to be showing up and saying, I am that nice person that you see, but you need to respect.
There's a boundary, there's a respect.
And what about when it comes to work projects and
it's
time?
Very hard for me. And my sister always tell me, you are a superwoman. And I feel like, why I'm superwoman? She said, how come you can do all of these things in the same time? Because I do have my own company. I do have my family of 5, which is 4 kids and my husband, of course. And then then I do have the social media, which is all our responsibilities. And when at that time, even before 2 years, I do have my also governmental job. That's why I decided to resign, because I can't cope up with all of that responsibilities. And then I decided to just give up on one thing, which was the government. I felt like I give the government my full heart at that time when I give them 15 years of my life working on there. And then I said, khalas, this is time to follow my passion and keep myself around my family, especially the kids, you know, they are very demanding, and all of them, they were like below 9. Now, mashallah, he's 11, my kid, but that was 2 years back. And then I sat with my husband and I told him, look, I have to resign because I love what I'm doing. I love my passion in interior. I want to open my own company because I have a vision for it. I want to open actually in my company 2 companies, which is like product making and services. And then I want also the social media life because it's very nice. And I feel loved. With people, I feel like communicated with the community, you know. And then I want to watch my kids because they need me. They really need me. And then now balancing between all of them is hard. I'm telling you, but I'm trying to put, if you see my phone and my books that I have, like I put calendars from this time to this time and this time to this time, and I don't forget myself. Because myself is like very important. I have to have myself tomorrow. I have to travel. I have to have sport. I have to have time for myself. I want to do my mani and paddy. I want to do things.
And if you don't, then you can't be useful to anybody.
I will lose myself, you know, at this time. And then what I decided to do is managing time and having people assisting. I have now, alhamdulillah, يعني at that time, 2 years, I didn't have anyone. Now I have 5 employees, alhamdulillah, and we are growing. And those employees, خلاص, يعني before I wanted to do everything with myself, you know. Now, no, خلاص, يعني I want to give them, delegate them. I have my husband, he's very, very supportive, and my family, of course. And then I have timings. Wallah, I put my timings, I have calendar that I put like every half an hour, like what I should do or what I have to do. And I tried my best. I'm not saying I'm sticking to that 100%, but I try. And social media is demanding because it's not only people, even if you miss, يعني, I think Tim, she understands me better when you disappear for 2 days, only 2 days. Yeah. It's like, where are you? And, you know, people missing you. And you need to be consistent so you keep yourself in the field. So it's all, I think, balancing.
It's a balance, but it's the work-life balance thing can be such a myth because some days work will be more important. It will take more of your time. Sometimes that might be a sick child who, you know, or a phone call from a friend. No, it's never going to be 50-50. It's never going to be perfectly balanced. It's going to change. And I mean, I know, sorry, I know as like a working mum, I just never feel enough.
But I think setting borders as well, even for yourself, like, I said border, as I say, I don't work in the weekends. Like I will not work. Khalas, I will not work. This days is for my family, like my mother, my father, my sisters, my family. And then I have also a rule of I don't work after 7. Like I try my best not to work, to شوية, to relax, to unwind. Yeah, I think those things help me to continue as well.
I sit in the car and delete emails before I go in and see my children so I can put my phone away and then I'm with them, because it's not always quantity that we can offer. Sometimes it is quality. And I think, honestly, I think a lot of people, whether you have children or it's for your family, it's all for them. You know, we do a lot for ourselves, but I want my children to understand that I work really hard to be an example for them, to be able to provide for them. And I know it's very difficult when it comes to filmmaking because it's not like a 9 to 5, you know.
No, it's very cyclical. It's very one extreme to the other. So I'll go like 3 months, I'll disappear from my whole family. I'll be in, I don't know, some other country shooting. And then when I come back, it's the complete opposite, which is difficult also. So it's like, that's why they call me extremist. So I go from one extreme to the other. But like now I'm here. So I'm with them all the time. And my son's angry with me. He's like, when will you do a children's movie?
No.
Because he can't watch any of my films. Even my shorts, they're all like, there's something that kids, I even told her you can't bring your kids to my next movie. So I said, one day I'll push myself to, I created a story around 5 cats, which has characters and a whole like land. And my husband's like, you got to write the book or make the movie, you know? He's like, think of all these other big cartoons. Like, you know, the kids really enjoy it. So I'm sure other kids will enjoy it.
And then you're like, okay, now we have the merchandise.
I love to.
And now we will retire.
I'm not sure it's me, but I'll try.
But
I do have a rock star of a husband. I really do. I mean, he's extremely hands-on. He understands my business extremely well. It is a blessing. And he's very, very amazing with the kids. He's so hands-on with the kids. So I know that when I'm gone, I have a mother and father in one, you know, that can take care of them. And that's a huge relief for women instead of like being in something that's toxic or whatever that may be. But we need drama.
Credit for that as well, because I people say this all the time about my husband. Oh, he's so hands-on, he's so supportive. I'm like, yeah, I chose him for those reasons, and I would not accept anything less than that. Yeah. And also, we have an amazing nanny as well. I think that's like a you know.
Yes,
I think
when
we don't acknowledge
without a nannies,
family and you know,
we're very lucky to have nannies.
Yeah, but it does a disservice to women who are trying to do everything and go, oh, you can do it. Why? You're like, well, I can do it because I have a hands-on.
But you know, I need
help.
In the quiet times, I need some drama. I thrive on No, I really do. I thrive on psychopaths or anything that's insane. Like I need that because that triggers the story or it keeps life exciting. Like I can maybe one thing I think we have all of us in common. I don't think we understand routine. Like we can have structure, we can be organized, but we need that chaos. Yeah. We need to thrive in something that's unpredictable. You know, we can't do the 9 to 4 every day. Like that's not us, right?
We're in the perfect city, ladies, because nothing is ever the same. Yeah, exactly. I feel so honored that we've had the chance to sit down together today. I know you guys, you know, your paths have crossed in the past, but I think we've got so much in common.
No, we have already a movie, so she's acting. She's
Yeah,
doing.
I'm
She's
down
doing
for
the.
that.
She's
I'm
doing the
signing
entire
the contract.
interior design of
yes,
the
yes.
film.
Right,
That's
so
it.
watch this space.
Thank you, Huzaifa, for bringing us
is
together.
really what we're saying.
And then they're both gonna. I don't have to do social because they're gonna cover.
Yes,
behind
this is
the covers.
amazing. And then,
Don't
and then you
worry.
come on the radio with me and I'll interview you. So this is perfect.
But just I'm saying, I'm not telling you any story about myself. Because I've heard what you said at the beginning of the interview.
Uh-oh. I spoke too fast.
No, it's been a genuine honor. You are such pioneers in your various fields and inspirations not to people watching and listening today, but to your followers, to your families, to moviegoers. I'm so excited to
And
see
thank you
what...
for making it easy for us.
Oh my goodness,
you
it's
know?
my pleasure. I just think when the right people come together with the right message in their hearts, and I know the mediums are different, but I think it comes back to this idea of being progressive, being authentic, really pushing boundaries and thinking about what and who comes next, because I think the legacy is going to live on in all of you. And thank you for your time.
Thank you
for having
Thank you
us.
so
enough.
much. Thank you.
I really feel like today has showed that heritage and tradition and honoring roots don't compete with modernity and innovation. They actually complete each other. You know, luxury carries memory and craft and hospitality and creations. This is Beyond the Surface, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.